brewers, and welcome to my channel. So today we are seeing the results of the homemade yeast nutrient. Now, if you haven't seen it, I'll put the links up there so you can get caught up, but if you have, stay here. So, if you recall, we did 3 experiments, one using nothing more than just sugar, water and bread yeast. Then number 2, as I recall, was the homemade yeast nutrient, and number 3 was the professional yeast nutrient. So, as you can see quite clearly, number 1, it puked everywhere. I mean, it's still cloudy, it looks like that. Number 2, which is the homemade yeast nutrient, is it's clearing, which is a little bit surprising, but not too surprising. We'll get to that in a minute. And number 3, which was the lovely professional nutrient, which was cool. So you can see in basic order these 2 are clearing, and this one, well, it looks horrible and it is not clearing. So I've got my hydrometer and we're going to be testing to see how much it's fermented. So since the experiment is over, I don't have to keep dipping and re-washing, so I'm going to start at number 3, which is pretty much we know what's going to happen. So in it goes. Just give it a minute. Now oddly, number 3 produced sort of like a slag on the top, while number 2 didn't. Number 1 was excessive, number 3 had a bit. Number 2 didn't have any whatsoever. It didn't puke out the top. It was fairly active, but it's clear, which is pretty cool. So this is sitting just above 1, which was cool, and our original reading was 0.140. So just remember 1.002 for that one. Let's see this one, which was again 1.040. I can't believe this. This is 1. Like, no, it's 1. Which doesn't want to come out now. There we go. And number 1, which is horrible, is and this one stopped at about 1.010. So yeah, I mean, the results are actually in and are very surprising. Now, I did use pretty much low alcohol here. Oh, that's just gnarly. So the results are rather amusing. So if you're using bread yeast, which, as you know, it's not the best thing to ferment with. It's, well, look at that, it's not going to ferment very high, and also yeah, that's weird. So the results are rather surprising, if not a little confusing. Now, it's only one test, so it's not definitive, but at the same time, it proves the concept so far. This one looks the best. This one, well, it just puked everywhere and didn't ferment to dryness. This one didn't puke and fermented the best. It's not clear though, so just put that in mind. So this is store-bought yeast nutrient. Now, I had to read these out because it's diammonium phosphate and ammonium sulfate, which are its nitrogen sources. So, and I chose sugar because, well, it's neutral, basically. It has nothing in it apart from sugar. So they can't get nutrients from anywhere else. So it is rather surprising. So just as a quick recap, because I'm trying to get my head around this. This one finished at 1.010. So that's 4%. Yeah. This one finished at 1. So that is 5.2%. This one finished at 1.002, so that's 4.9. So, I mean, it's not a big difference, but at the same time, these two, it is a big difference. There is like a 1.2, 1.3% difference between none and some. So that's pretty cool. Now, I did get chatting to someone who didn't think that this was going to work, but yeast nutrient, they don't necessarily say it on there. It does contain, a lot of them do contain dead yeast cells, because the yeast cannibalize them for their nutrients. You know, all the small amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, blah 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 blah, vitamins and all the rest of it. So it is a proven concept, but I've just basically skipped out adding the nitrogen source and went natural. So there's only one last test to do, and it's the one I'm least looking forward to. It's that one I'm least looking forward to. I've got a glass, so let's try this. Oh God. Why do I do it? So, the tasting. Yum. So, let's start with the worst. It looks horrible. It's got this scummy stuff on it. It puked out the top. It smells funky. Alcoholic and slightly funky. Now the technical term for this is gilju. Now I could have left this to cold filter, but this is basically the results from that given time period. So it is cloudy, it is milky, it smells really bad. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I want to drink this, but I'm going to, and it's got bits in it. Now, okay, so, it's got a yeasty taste. Fortunately, this actually has residual sugar in there, so that really does hide some of the nasties in it. It is, second time's a charm, right? Oh, okay. It's still very, very slightly fizzy because it hasn't been degassed. It hasn't cleared, so it's got a yeasty taste to it. It is very mildly sweet, so I can see why you can drink it, but at the same time, would you want to drink it? If you're desperate enough. This was used in World War II, the basic principle, obviously not 2-litre bottles, to brew up. So there's a reason why this is classed as undesirable. And it smells pretty funky. So I'm going to reset, and we're going to try number 3 next, because I'll save 2 for last. So number 3, the official yeast nutrient. Number 1 did not taste that good. I mean, at a pinch, but anyway, so this one instantly doesn't have that same weird smell that the first one did, the gilju. So this is professionally done. Now it is starting to settle out. This one's settling the quickest. It's a lot clearer than number 1, put it that way. Should also be drier, so give it a swirl. Okay, this one is more neutral, which you would expect with just fermenting sugar. Most of the yeast is gone. A bit more will go, but at the same time, bread yeast. Bread yeast is not good for fermenting with. Okay, so this one has a strange aftertaste. It's the bread yeast. I mean, I know what it is. It has a bread yeasty taste, which you can taste more in this one. It's kind of a bit like wet dog. I mean, the first mouth taste, it tastes fine until it hits the back of my tongue. Then it kind of tastes funky. Right, yeah. Wet dog, fag butts. Yum. So, yeah, not necessarily that good. I'm not going to drink that. That tastes pretty bad. I got a nasty taste in the back of my mouth. So I'm going to reset and do number 2. Oh. Bah. Still got that taste in my mouth, and I've had another drink after that of water. So yeah, number 1 with the kilju. Now, if you're using bread yeast and making kilju, probably for the best it's sweet. Having it dry, the yeast has a weird taste. Kind of unpleasant. Wet dog fag butts. Yum. So, am I expecting any better from this? Even though, yeah, I don't know. Let's get this over with. So, actually, that smells different. Try this. You just pull it off. These two smell different. That's bizarre. They have a different smell. Already a different smell. Not entirely sure that's an unpleasant smell. Okay, so number 2. Now it is slowly clearing, so I only took a bit off the top. Now it's not as clear as number 3. Yeah, see, I can count to 3. But at the same time, it is clearing, so it's doing better than sugar and yeast on its own. So cheers. Smells alcohol-y. Right, let's see if this tastes of dog and fag butts, maybe a bit of fart. You're not going to believe this. That's actually not bad. Now it looks like I've rigged this. I don't know what it is that's happened, because it was the same yeast, the same amount of yeast, the same amount of water, and the same amount of sugar. Out of all of these, the one which is most like a fermented beverage that you would use bread yeast, real yeast with, is the one I made. The homemade yeast nutrient and the bread yeast. It doesn't have that wet dog taste. Fag butts, fart, maybe a bit of death. I'm surprised. I'm actually shocked because it looks like I rigged this. Now, why don't you taste of wet dog and fart? This is really bizarre. So I have brought back all 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to put them in the order of which I would least like to drink. And this is going to surprise you. Over here is what I most want to drink. Over here is what I least want to drink. So, number 3 is actually the one I would least like to drink. Now it did ferment pretty much to dryness, but it tastes like wet dog, fag butts, and kind of fart in the aftertaste. It's not when you're drinking it, it's when you've swallowed it, you get this funky taste. Now, in the middle is number 1. Now, it doesn't taste that nice, but you don't get the wet dog fart ashtray aftertaste. You get sweet, yeasty, yuck. Sweet, yeasty, kind of weird. The one I most want to drink, which looks like I've made this up, is my homemade one, using bread yeast and my homemade yeast nutrient. Now, I don't know why. I can only presume that the professional yeast nutrient that you use with professional yeast, homebrewing yeast, causes, I don't know, the yeast to go nuts and make off flavors, because, funny enough, bread yeast is made for bread, not alcohol brewing. This Yeah, this is just a puke-tastic mess of gnarliness, and this is actually drinkable. I've got some here, and I am more than happy to drink this. I'm still not getting wet dog. Now, when it went in, it kind of tasted a bit like MSG, so, which is an amino acid, so just so you know. So, I am very surprised by my results. The results are, this one brewed the best. This one tasted the best. And all I wanted to prove was that using my homemade yeast nutrient was better than not using any at all, which I have done. It also happens to be the best tasting one I've made. So, the results are, if you're brewing with bread yeast and you're brewing with sugar, cook up some yeast. It seems to be a damn good yeast nutrient for bread yeast. That's... I don't know what to say. So, if you haven't seen the other videos, check them out. Don't forget to subscribe and do the notification thing. And yeah, of course, comments. I couldn't make this up if I tried. So, I have nothing more to say. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in another video. I can't believe that.